back, yogis. I'm Michaela and I'll be your yoga teacher for today. This is a short low back yoga sequence. You'll need a yoga block as well as either a belt or a yoga strap or anything really. Robe. I can't think of the word. Nothing that holds your robe closed. A robe string. For today, we're going to begin in supine, just on our back. So lower yourself down gently. You can let the feet go. Rest your hands either by your side or on the belly and close off the eyes. And take 3 mindful breaths here. Settling into the body and into your space. And just taking stock of how you're feeling in this particular moment. And take in your surroundings. And the sensations in your body. Simply continue to breathe into the belly while maintaining this awareness. Slowly open the eyes. Inhale. Bring your knees close to your chest. Wrap your arms around and give it a squeeze. Maybe rock gently side to side. Rotate and press your tailbone down towards the earth. Flatten out the back. I'm doing yoga, do you mind? If it's not a kid, it's my husband. Let your left leg go. Hold on to your right knees. Just give it a little squeeze into your chest. Grab your strap and take it around your feet. The middle of it, and straighten your leg. Being careful to not lock off your knee joint. Take a deep inhale and begin to pull your toes closer towards your face. The more we flex into the ankle joint and pull down on the toes as well as forward towards our face, the more of a stretch that we're going to get. Take a deep inhale and exhale it over to the right. And let the hip fall. I have a wall in the way, but that actually feels not bad. So we're just going to go with it. Using the rope in your hands, gently guide your foot back over, and then take it over to the left. And find a place where you feel steady. I felt like my right hip had lifted and I didn't feel steady anymore, even though the stretch was all right. So find a place where you feel steady and comfortable, while also finding sensation in the hamstrings and the calves and maybe even the side of your glutes. straight. And gently into the knee. Let your strap go. And release the leg. We're not done with our props. We're going to take our block, and place it in between our knees. And do a little bit of a core workout before we start the second side. Just to, by waking up the core and kind of firing it up, we will help to protect our low back as well as to prevent future low back pain and strengthen that. So inhale, lift the chest, lift the feet, straighten the arms, and exhale, tap your right hand, reach back for your right heel. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Keep going. 20. Hold. And slowly release. I don't like to tell you how many we're doing when we start, because then you might quit. Let go of the block. Inhale both knees into chest. And exhale your right leg away. And hug your left knee in. And take your strap and wrap it around your foot. Straighten the leg. Careful to not lock out the knee joint. I'm a little bit hypermobile in my knee, so I like to be a little bit more careful. And that might just mean that I go from full extension to just backing off, just ever so slightly. And inhale. Just begin to track the foot forward. The more we flex through and use our own muscles, so we flex through the ankle, we're using our own muscles to help us stretch. I find it better than going the ultimate distance I can extend my knee. I suppose for me it's a risk of my joint at the expense of a deeper stretch, and while delicious. Pros and cons, right? Inhale and exhale your left foot just slightly over to the side. Again, finding this space of strength of holding our foot up, while also not tipping. Maybe that means letting the foot go just ever so slightly. Experiment with what feels better. Perhaps pulling up on the foot. What feels good in your body, in your hamstring. I preferred it up here. It took more strength. But the stretch felt like it had more integrity. All right, inhale, come back to center and take it over to the right hand side. Dropping the right foot down. And again, using the sensation in your muscles to guide you. Breathe into your left hip. Inhale, back to center. Bend into the knee, release the foot. Give it a little squeeze. And exhale, release. Inhale, both knees into your chest. Give it a little squeeze, a little rock back and forth. Roll the sacrum down. Flatten out the low back. Bring your core, or your block, in between your thighs. Inhale, lift the upper body and the torso. Lift the feet. And reach with your right hand to your right heel. Left hand to left heel. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 more. 20. And release. Lower the feet down. Release the block. Inhale your knees into your chest. Little rock up to seated. Bring your right foot so it's up on top of your left thigh. So we're stacking our knee over top of our one foot and then our foot over top of our other knee. So it's opposite. And this is fire log pose, I believe. It has a couple names. And I can't remember the Sanskrit name at this moment. It's not really important. So inhale, spine is long. And we close off the eyes. And slowly walk yourself forward. Again, this is actually a really great pose for a block. If you can come down onto your elbows, it can be really juicy. It's up to you. And I really like to have something to press my third eye into when I'm in this type of a fold, whether it's pigeon or this pose. So I lean my head down and just place a block beneath my forehead. And it's up to you whether you want it to be in the longest sort of setting or if you want to take it down a little bit more. It's entirely up to you and what's available to you in your range of motion. And inhale, maybe find a little bit of length. Exhale it away. Inhale. Walk yourself back up. Release the legs out in front. Give them a little shake out. And this time, place your left foot on top of your right thigh and fold your right foot underneath. I like to flex through the ankle as well. I have to work a little harder to get a deeper stretch. I'm a little too flexible. I'm hypermobile. So, like I said, I have to work harder to get this stretch. So, inhale, grow tall through the spine, and exhale, walk yourself forward. And maybe stay here on the hands, or again, experiment. Do you want to come down on the forearms or a block? And I find that mine, how I get the best stretch is really by stacking the hips as best, or stacking my knee over top of the foot and this foot over top of this knee. And by flexing through both ankles, by growing tall through the spine, and then hinge it forward at the waist. And this side is a little bit more restricted for me, which is typical. We often have a side that is a bit more restricted. So take note of this in your practice. And perhaps that means that you spend maybe a little bit more time on the side that's more restricted, or you do it twice. It doesn't really make sense to have a completely symmetrical practice when our bodies are not entirely symmetrical. And that's something for you to know about your body. Inhale, walk yourself back up. And release the walk. Release the feet. Let them go. Give them a little wiggle. Root through your 2 sits bones. Spine grows long. Inhale the arms up. And exhale, fold over the legs, par. Man, I'm having a day with Sanskrit. It like jumped out of my mouth as I said it. Paschimottanasana, that's the one. I had another P Sanskrit name stuck in my head, and I'm like, I know it's not that one. Inhale, like I said earlier, it's not important. Inhale, walk yourself back up. You don't need to know the Sanskrit to do the poses. Roll onto your hands and knees. Stack the knees under the hips, and the wrists underneath the shoulders. Drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the gaze. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, slowly round through each vertebra. Press through the space between the shoulder blades, your spine, press it up towards the ceiling. Inhale, lift the chest, make space. And exhale, round. Hands press deep into the earth. Widen the space between the shoulder blades. Navel into spine. Drop the belly, lift the chest. Exhale, round. Come to tabletop position. Curl the toes under and lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Straighten one leg and then the other. Taking a deep inhale and exhale completely. And look forward at the space between your hands and walk your hands. You don't heel toe your hands, but take your hands just a little bit wider. Heel toe the feet just a little bit wider as well. And take a generous inhale. And exhale. Inhale, look forward at the space between your hands and walk your feet gently up. Inhale, create space, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms down and up. And exhale, hands come down through heart center. Feet are hip width apart. Palms face the front. Firm up the thighs. Roll the shoulder blades down and back. Inhale, arms rise. And exhale, fold over your legs. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back. Plank. Inhale, rock forward on the toes. What this does is just kind of fires up the belly a little bit. You have the same, invite your panty line or your pubic bone towards your xiphoid process or your sternum. We'll do the same as well. I'm holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Bend into the elbows. Slowly lower all the way down. Belly flop asana. Release the feet. All 10 toenails are on the ground. Take the elbows underneath the shoulders. Forearms press into the mat. All 10 fingers are wide. We're kind of gripping the mat. And when we grip the mat, we can have the sensation of pulling our hands back towards our torso. And this also will fire up the low belly. Firm up the thighs. Press all 10 toenails into the mat. We'll move into moving vinyasa here in Sphinx pose. So our heart shines forward. Take a deep inhale. Press through the tops of our feet and look back to the top of your feet or down at your feet. And slowly lower all the way down. Gaze shifts forward. That's 1. Inhale. Look down at your feet and lower. 2. And 3. Inhale. For 4, lower. Inhale. 5. Slowly lower. Beautiful. Release the hands. Forehead comes down to the mat. 1 inhale. Exhale. Hands come on either side of the shoulders. Roll the shoulder blades back. All 10 toenails. Press into the mat. Inhale. Lift the chest. Cobra pose. And exhale. Lower. Plant the hands. Come through tabletop position. Curl the toes underneath and lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. And pedal out the legs. Inhale, look forward to the space between your hands and walk, step, or if you like, bend the knees and take a little bunny hop to the front of your mat and float. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms down, around, and up. And exhale, hands come down through heart center. Palms face the front, roll the shoulder blades back. Inhale, circle the arms up. And exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Step the feet back and roll through vinyasa. Bend into the elbows. Press through the hands, lift the chest, cobra pose. Press through the tops of the feet, lift the hips up and back, and slowly flip one foot and then the other into downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale your right leg up and back. And exhale, take knee to nose. Kiss the knee in. Inhale, right leg up and back. And exhale, step your right foot between your hands and drop your back knee down. Anjaneyasana, or low lunge. Always option to take a block here on either side is also good too. In fact, I recommend. So play around in this pose, have equal amounts of, I feel almost dropping and sinking and stretching into the psoas, as well as equal amounts of, we press our right foot into the mat and straighten out the hips. And this creates both stretch, we play with stretch, and when we press our right foot into the mat, we play with strength in the right quad. And that's a beautiful thing I think about yoga, is that you can customize that in your practice for something that you need a little bit more. And it doesn't take much movement to create big change. Like, I'll be sore from this as we press our right foot in to the mat and then slowly sink forward and down. Beautiful. Bend into the back knee, reach the left hand back, grasp your foot, a little quad stretch. Use your blocks to support you. They can make so much more of your practice accessible and can give another element to the practice. They're so useful. Release your back foot gently. We're in runner's lunge. Inhale, see if you can pick up your right foot Turn so that your shin is parallel to the front of the mat, and then slowly lower back down. We're in pigeon pose. One of my favorites. You either love it or hate it, right? And it's almost a cliche, but the yoga poses that you hate are the ones you need. Yes, the things we resist will persist. So inhale, lift the chest, make space, shine the heart forward. And exhale, slowly lower down, maybe come down onto your elbows. Again, take the forehead to the block. And just melt into the right hip. And send 3 mindful breaths to your right hip. And yes, you hear some sort of movie going on in the background, likely it is Aquaman, which is allegedly only acceptable at top volume. That's okay, I just think of Jason Momoa and I don't mind. It's all good. And I lost count, so that maybe was more than 3 breaths, but that's okay. More Jason Momoa time. All right, lift yourself up onto your hands. Shine the heart forward. Plant the hands. Curl your back toes underneath you. And pick up the hips and send your right foot back. Plank pose. And roll through vinyasa. Bend into the elbows. Cobra. Lift the chest. Press through the tops of the feet, hips up and back, and downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale your left leg up and back. And exhale, knee to nose, kiss it in. Inhale your left leg up and back. And exhale, step your left foot between your hands. And drop your back right knee down. Option to use blocks. And slowly just sink your right hip down towards the earth. And just really let gravity and yourself kind of like sloppy jalopy sink into it. It feels so good. And no, it's not always the intention of the pose, but this one is definitely just to feel the juiciness of the hip. Okay, now we're going to bring the strength into it. Press the bottom of your left foot into the mat and straighten the hips off. So we're going to basically lift the torso in line with the hips again. We create this strength in the left leg. And exhale, release, and stretch into the right hip. Take a deep inhale, and exhale, press through the left foot. And lift the torso, and release. So it's a very subtle movement. And it doesn't have to be maybe, well, I think I'm moving a lot, but maybe I'm actually not moving a lot on camera. No, I really am not. So it's a very subtle movement here. Again, you can create a lot of strength in just such a small movement. So use your own ability and strength to what you are comfortable with. Beautiful. And slowly lower down. Bend into the right knee. Reach back with the right hand. Again, always option to use your strap, your belt, or whatever you have. And again, this side is much tighter for me. I'm struggling here a little bit. Deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And let the foot go. Plant the right hand down. Curl the toes underneath. Lift yourself up into lunge twist. Oh no, we need to do pigeon first. Plant the hands and pick up your left foot and tiger curl it in. So we press our hands into the mat, curl through our top, round through our shoulders. Turn so your shin is parallel to the front of the mat and slowly lower your hips back down. And yes, it's aggravating when somebody can't find their words and you're like holding your knee in the air suspended, but it's just making you stronger, right? Maybe I'm doing it on purpose. Inhale, lift the chest, grow tall, and exhale, slowly walk forward. Lower the forearms down to the mat. Maybe take a block. Again, it's the same for me in fire log pose, as I called it, where I get a greater sensation when I flex through my ankle and try to keep my shin as parallel to the front of the mat. Obviously, if this is not as accessible to you, which it isn't to a lot of people, take a block and place it underneath the hip. And it's always option to take your foot closer in to the pelvis. What feels best in your body and in today's body, because these things change. It's the end of the day for me. Hips are open, I've been up and about, but in the beginning, at the beginning of the day or in my first practice, this pose looks a lot different for me. Inhale, walk yourself back up. And plant the hands. Curl your toes under. Lift the hips up and send your left foot back. Come into plank pose. Bend into the elbows. Press, lift the chest, upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Inhale, look at the space between your hands and just take a little half step in, cross the feet, and slowly sit down, or however you get to your seat. Oh, I have paint on my knee. Oh, who knew? Kids, they're so fun. All right, we're coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale. Lift the chest, spine grows long. And exhale, walk yourself forward. Again, always option to use a block underneath the seat for your sits bones. Creates a little more space in the pelvis. And it makes this pose more accessible to more people. And they're also just fun to rest your head on. Inhale, walk yourself up. Reach with your right peace fingers to your right big toe. Bend to the elbow. And we sort of shift our torso here to the right. Place your elbow in this crease along your knee. There's a little nook there right there for you. Bend to the right elbow. And inhale, open your left hand up to the ceiling. Rotate the heart to ceiling. And with your upper arm bone, pressing back in space, and then gently over to the side. Continue to press the upper arm bone back in space. So I'm creating sort of like this rainbow. And the reason why I request that we press the upper arm bone back is because we can often reach and touch with our hand here, and we do get a greater stretch, or can feel more intense. And I have leverage against my own body here. But it's also closing off the heart. So I'd like to inhale, press the arm back in space and rotate the chest up to the ceiling. Open the heart. Inhale, release the peace fingers, and slowly come back up. Bend the left elbow, peace fingers, left peace fingers come to your left toes. Pull the torso down through your left arm. Inhale your right hand up and over. Press the right upper arm bone back in space. Shutting the heart up towards the ceiling. And in all honesty, it did actually feel good. So if it felt good for you to reach with your top hand towards your foot, and if you can touch your foot, hurrah. See if you can continue to rotate the upper arm back in space, maybe peek underneath your armpit. Release the foot, find the rainbow, shine the heart up, and exhale, release, come back up. Beautiful. Cross the legs, take your left hand on the outside of your right thigh, right hand comes behind you. Inhale, spine grows long, and exhale. Over your right shoulder. Easy twist. And let go. Right hand over onto left thigh. Inhale, spine grows long. Your left hand's behind you. And exhale, twist to your left. Easy twist. And exhale. Release. Settling in on your sits bones or on your seat, either with your hands just behind you or alongside the knees. Lower your torso back, so hinge back at the hips ever so slightly, as if your torso was suspended from the ceiling. So we're just kind of hanging here. We've turned on the abs just by doing this. Inhale, lift the feet, and just balance here for a moment. Maybe straighten the legs. Something I'm working on. Yeah, there's always something to work on and get better at. For 3, 2, 1. And slowly lower down. See how slow. And release. Beautiful. Inhale both knees into your chest. Give them a little squeeze. Take hold of your feet. Pull down so your knees come down towards your armpit. And then have the same sensation of rolling the tailbone down towards the earth, flattening out the low back. Close off the eyes. Happy baby. I have also heard this called dead bug. Happy baby seems more appropriate. Release the feet, take the knees into chest, give them a little squeeze. And slowly let your legs go. Let your left and right foot fall out to the side. Left hand on the heart, right hand on the belly. Close off the eyes. Center in on your breathing. Thank yourself for taking this time to do this practice. Shavasana. You're welcome to stay here as long as you wish. And for anyone else that has to continue on with your day, slowly make yourself up to a comfortable seat. Bring your hands together in prayer from your heart. Both thumbs press into the breastbone. Bow your head first to yourself. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, and from my heart to yours. Namaste.